It's a very simple question. Why does there have to be an Old and New Testament? So, for someone with my level of understanding, I might say the following. It gives prophecies about the coming of Christ. It tells of what happened in the biblical timeline before Christ came onto earth. It shows how God the Father, the first person of the Holy Trinity, relates to his people, aka the Israelites. And it helps complete the Bible and fulfills all the prophecies in the Old Testament, which were the will of God. So, yeah, I'm going to give you the ground here. Why do you think that there's an Old and New Testament?
Yeah, it's interesting. The church has kind of tested both options here on the testaments. When people began believing in Jesus in the early stage of the church, they were even tempted by one option that said, well, we don't need the Old Testament anymore. We've kind of gone past that. We just need a New Testament. But we do find, and the church decided this, we actually need, even when we're kind of Gentiles and not Jewish ourselves, we need the Old Testament to understand the backstory. In a sense, why do we need a rescue plan? How do we know that anything is wrong? Why do we need a savior? And it kind of falls to Israel, the people in the Old Testament, to model what it's like to try and live as the people of God and to fall short, and to kind of demonstrate why we need a further plan, a greater plan from God that will cater for the fact that we do fail, cater for the fact that we fall short. So God still wants a people for himself, a people for his name, but he needs to do something to overcome the shortcoming, the sin, the unfaithfulness that, not that Israel had a special kind of monopoly on, like they were especially bad people, but really they just demonstrated the problem for all human beings in falling short of the glory of God. So we need the Old Testament to play that out and to kind of demonstrate the need for a mediator and a savior.
Essentially, what you're trying to say is that if the first option you kind of put out in the early church was received and the Old Testament was kind of wiped away from memory, are you suggesting that the purpose of there being a Messiah wouldn't be as, I don't know how to say, special or prominent, because there is no Old Testament to teach us why we needed Jesus so much? Is that kind of what you're getting at, or am I missing something?
Yeah, that's a big part of it. And of course, when Jesus comes, he is Jewish. He's reaching out, first of all, to Jews, to the people who knew that they'd fallen short. So he really arrives embedded in that context that the Old Testament explains. He's part of it. And then he and the apostles kind of break down the walls and widen the reach of God's rescue plan.